Alright guys, welcome back to the F1 Manager game here, and we are not far from the end of the season. I believe we have 4 races left. We've got the Circuit of the Americas with Mexico, we have Brazil, and then we have Abu Dhabi. I mean, the championship, technically, 4 drivers can still win it. I mean, 3 drivers can still win it. We've got Max, we've got Sainz, we've got Charles Leclerc. But you know what, it's going to be a very exciting end of the season. I mean, realistically, it is Sainz to lose. I mean, he's going to have to probably suffer a retirement or maybe 2 to like bring it close, and that would be Leclerc maximising. But you know, Max still in it, Leclerc still in it. But with engine penalties and grid penalties still to be taken here in the final 4 rounds, it's going to be fucking interesting, guys. But anyway, let's get stuck into the weekend and see what the Ferrari can bring us. But at least the constructors, I mean, is wrapped up. I don't see how they can even catch us. Perez is that far behind. Practically, I think the constructors the constructors is guaranteed, guys. Even if it's not mathematically, it just won't happen for them. So Forza Ferrari and all that good stuff there. As you can see, quite a few penalties for a couple of the higher midfield guys like Gasly, Bottas, and Alonso. So for the likes of the top 6, the top 3 teams, should be straightforward. But we are going into qualifying, which is scheduled to be heavy rain. As you can see, Sainz still on top. We've got Leclerc, who was a bit lacklustre, but I knew with grid penalties he should still be doing relatively alright. But you know, that was only Q1, I guess. But you know, with rain scheduled here, I mean, as I say, as soon as we go out here in Q2, it's intermediate conditions. So we've went from bone dry to a track that looks like it's only going to get wetter, which I didn't initially realise at this point. I was like, fuck, it is just getting wetter, so we need to set the lap straight away. But then, as I say that, as the cars go out, it's getting drier. But then I realised as we went out, as you see, we were near going down to, and I noticed this on the outlap, we're near going down to a level of where you could maybe be quicker on dries. Because once it goes under 1, you are quicker on dries. Like it says, the track is drying up. And I was honestly debating at this point, fuck, is it worth risking the pit for a set of the soft tyres? But as you see there, man, the track, it's still raining. The track was just wet. But as we go around our quick lap here, the track immediately gets hit heavier in terms of rain, which was crucial because if we pit it would have been completely fucked. But as you can see, the track now is completely intermediate. But when we did our laps, it was like half and half, which means you're obviously just going to be quicker. So that means the order that you see is very much going to be the order that qualifying 2 finishes in, which is pretty crucial for the championship and whoever's going to win this race this weekend. So Leclerc comes around the final corner. As he can't improve. The track is just too wet compared to what it was at the start of the session. But look at that. With Gasly out, with Max Verstappen out, which is the biggest shocker here in Q2, which I was completely shocked about. But I mean, you've got Guan Yu Zhou making it into the top 10, you know. You've even Lando Norris, which is very surprising for a McLaren to be in there because they've just shown no pace all season. But now we're going into Q3, but we're back onto the soft tyre. So hopefully now we can deliver. In the Q3 though, I mean, it wasn't good for Leclerc. It wasn't good, but Sainz manages to stick it on pole so far. But as we go into the final laps here, it's going to be interesting to see what order this grid's going to be in. But of course, there is quite a few grid penalties. But as you can see, it just finishes for Sainz, for Perez, and from Leclerc. So Bottas and Alonso both have grid penalties, which means the Mercedes are going to move up quite a lot, which is going to be very, very interesting as we go in to the Grand Prix. But to add insult to injury, we've had to give Leclerc a new engine, which means he's going to be hit with a 10th place grid penalty, which is not good when he wants to be fighting his teammate Carlos Sainz for his world title. Sainz with the massive lead that he's already got. We've got his 2 challengers down in 11th and 12th place here, but we kick off at Kota. As you can see, it is Sainz leading from Perez. Then it is both Mercedes and Valtteri Bottas. Lando Norris pretty high up. P6 for the McLaren, but it is a very mixed up grid with both AlphaTauris who are probably, you know, challenging, well, maybe not as quick as Mercedes, but they are probably the 4th best car at this stage in the career mode, and they're starting 19th and 20th. But you know, with Sainz, if we can just get a big gap, it should be comfortable. But Lando Norris drives straight on at the end of the back straight, brings out the safety car, and we're kind of brought back to square one here. I mean, we are only in lap 3, but you know, it's going to be interesting to see how far these tyres can go. Sainz starting on the soft, probably a mistake, because the simple fact is, Tyre degradation looks really bad here, and we didn't really know that because of the wet qualifying and shit, but it is what it is. But we've got to move on, we've got to deal with it as the race goes on. But it looks like on pace we do have the fastest car this weekend, but you know, we'll see how it goes. But Bottas has moved himself up to P4 in the Alfa Romeo. Leclerc hangs it round the outside of Kevin Magnussen. He moves up to P10, and now Max Verstappen is directly in front of him. But Lewis Hamilton bottles it, spins it, and is dropped down to the back of the grid. Not good, but now Leclerc in a battle for 6th place between himself, Verstappen, and Guan Yu Zhou. He's made light work of Verstappen. What tyres is Verstappen? I think he's on the sauce, but Leclerc blasts past Guan Yu Zhou and is now up into P6 with the likes of Fernando, Alonso, Bottas, Russell, Perez, and his teammate further down the road. But now he's caught up to the back of Alonso and Russell. Bottas is pitted. I think he's put on a set of hard tyres. If Bottas is going for the one stop, it's going to take a serious amount of tyre saving, because I doubt he's going to be able to do it here because the tyres just seem to be falling off a cliff. But we're going to pit Carlos Sainz with Perez now takes the lead of the race. He inherits it, and now we've got Russell and Alonso behind. And as you can see, look, Sainz has basically made up the gap already. He's only, 8 seconds behind is where everyone else is pitting. Now he's 3.5 behind Sergio Perez. Leclerc's pitted. He's come out behind the likes of Alonso, Verstappen, Bottas, Russell. Not that good stuff. But in this race, literally everyone's on a different strategy. It makes it pretty unique. But Perez balls it. He could have held up Sainz, but flies off the track. Leclerc now absolutely flying on those fresh hards. He blasts past Max Verstappen. And now he's got Valtteri Bottas up next, and he makes light work of him. And we're loving life. It's currently a Ferrari 1-2 Carlos Sainz pitting. And he, on lap 32, will put on a set of hards, and hopefully 24 laps isn't too much of an ask. But Leclerc, he's on the hards right now, and I was thinking, with Leclerc, I mean, what do you do? Do you just completely save the tyres and drag out to the end, or do you kill the hard tyres and pit for a set of softs? And you know what, guys? It's pit for a set of softs with 14 laps to go, and that is exactly what he's going to do. And as you can see, he's made up the ground already. We've got Verstappen on the hards, Bottas on the hards, and Leclerc on these softs. But they were pretty worn softs, like as I noticed here. 11 laps to go, and he's on at 56% tyre wear, which immediately made me think, oh fuck, we're beat here. But you know, at least with our point of view, we've 2 cars in this title fight, and Sainz is leading, and he's in the best position for it. And with that spin, that basically wipes Max Verstappen out of the title fight, doesn't it? Because he can't afford to be losing these amount of points when he's already so far behind. But yeah, we blast past Valtteri Bottas there for P2, but Bottas trying to stay with us. And as you can see, he does get back past Leclerc. Leclerc's tyres are completely off at this stage. We have about 5 laps to go, and we've got Perez, we've got Verstappen and Russell all now behind us. And at this point, Perez decided to pit again for fresh tyres, which then makes Verstappen's job real easy. Gaining a bunch of positions through that way. Gets up to P3. Sainz almost getting caught by Bottas in the end, but Sainz wins for Bottas, Verstappen, and thankfully Leclerc on what's that, 1% tyre wear? Manages to hold off Russell from Alonso, Perez, Hamilton, Gasly, and Tsunoda. So that is your top 10. And with that, Carlos Sainz takes a massive lead in the championship with 3 rounds to go. So with 3 rounds to go, Leclerc is 43 points behind Sainz, and Max Verstappen is a whopping 57 points behind Carlos Sainz. So with that, the title fight is still 3 ways, but Sainz is the man to take it. Ferrari, we've wrapped up the constructors, but with 3 races to go, let's see how it's going to pan out in Mexico. So until next time, peace.